I will be a guide, an animator for this discussion to see how we can all have good ideas. And at the end, the whole thing is to have our faith strong in this changing world. So I want us to start with this. This is the discussion for the whole fall, the whole September. How our faith can have meaning in this changing this world. How can we live it? How can we share it? How can we nurture this faith in our children? But we have to ask ourselves, is this something we should do? This is the whole discussion. Then today I'll be sharing you some nice music and dance from Ghana. By the time you leave, everybody will be dancing like a Ghanaian. We have a special dance we dance. Everybody will learn how to dance. So I'll be sharing some videos of some recent events of our diocese. And through that, I'll use the video to discuss the life of the faith in Ghana. How we live our faith, how we celebrate the Eucharist, how we celebrate the Christian faith. So let's first discuss this. Do you think the gospel message is still relevant to our world today?
Yes.
How? Let's debate. If you are always saying yes, I am saying no. So let's see. Who wants to say something? Do you think it's relevant? Looking at our young people today, that the gospel message makes sense. Last Sunday, I struggled to preach. All the 3 months I said last Sunday, I changed my homily, one or the other. Because we talk about cross, talk about hate your mother, hate your father. While I was preaching, I was debating in my head. What does it mean today to hate my mother, to hate my father, and to take my cross for the way? So I want to say something.
Well, I think first of all, when they say hate, it is whether you have a preference for. So when Jesus was saying hate your mother or hate your father, he doesn't mean it the way we understand hate today. Okay. The way that the language was back then, they didn't have an expression for preference. So that he was really saying, don't have a preference for your mother or your father or your wife or your children ahead of Jesus.
So that it makes sense today.
Yeah, the thing, most people are afraid to admit it. The people who are believers, many people are not believers, but the people who are believers are sometimes very reticent about expressing their belief because they think they're going to be criticized, because so much in the secular world today criticizes Christianity in particular and other religions as well.
So that means to some people it makes sense, to some it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I think some people make sense, but the people who they think it doesn't make sense is because they haven't really thought about it.
Okay. Who else? Our faith, our spirituality, everything Catholic, everything religious. I don't have any space in our world today. We are thinking about economy, we are thinking about mortgage, we are talking about everything. Anything about faith.
Well, living the faith means a certain amount of self-denial. And that in itself, most people would say, no, I don't want to do that. But when we have a greater goal than the immediate pleasure or achievement we are seeking, the greater goal can motivate us beyond. So we need to talk about God and Jesus and reveal the greater goal, the love that we are seeking to embody in this world.
I think it's about mindset, and because people make a lot of time for doing things that are absolutely unfulfilling nowadays. You'll be on your phone scrolling. And spend hours, and that doesn't mean, you're fine with that, but you could be doing something fulfilling for God or with God. And,
Next
it's all
week,
about mindset, you know?
next week we'll realize
Making
that.
priorities.
Next week we'll realize that our scrolling is not our fault. We are forced to scroll.
Mm-hmm. And you're just doing it mindlessly. You don't even thinking about what you're doing, and all of a sudden you're addicted to this thing that's not fulfilling at all, leaves you feeling empty. And people don't even think twice about wasting 2 hours of their day doing that. But would they come to church for 2 hours?
Don't miss next week. You're going to realize that you are not free. None of us is free.
No.
Father, use just the handhelds tonight instead of that. I'll pick up better with the
This one
handheld.
is better.
And I will get you another handheld so we
Okay.
can use both.
Okay.
Right.
But I'm also recording, so we'll compare the two.
Yeah, but the lavalier is a little weak. That one's nice and strong.
Okay. So next week we are going to see that none of us is free. And everything is to distract us. Unless you decide not to use phone. If you decide not to use phone, you have no problem. But you can't do anything in this world. Your bank accounts, everything, the food you have to eat, everything is online, so you can't live without it. The moment you step in that continent, your freedom is taken away. So next week we will think about that. And that is why we are discussing how we can live our faith in such a struggling world. When I do analysis of our own faith, one thing I realize is I have started my own media, and that is what I want to do. The name is the New Aripagos Media. And just a small Can you hear the sound? An apostle among philosophers, proclaiming truth. The Areopagus has changed, but the hunger for truth remains. Where do we speak now? From the stones of alchemy to the screens in your hands, the word still speaks, the voices still rise, the stories are yet untold, and the search for meaning is far from over.
My children, the message remains true, though the scrolls are now screened. Connect with the eternal.
This is the new Areopagus. I've already launched it, so there's no launching soon. That is my target. How we can make the gospel message relevant to the digital world. And it has to be something we deliberately do. Sometimes we forget that the gospel needs legs to run. Jesus came and chose 12 men. And a lot of women around him. He taught them. He spent so much time with them. And just what he did for 3 years have kept this church for over 2,000 years. And I wonder when I've gone to school for 9, 10 years and we are still thinking that the church is dying. Priests go through 9 to 10 years. And we still find it difficult to make the gospel message relevant today, and we are missing the point. So it is all has to do with our targets, and this is where I try to make some arguments here. The word was in the beginning with God. It was incarnated. It was inserted in our world. We have not known the gospel message from the very beginning. All of us grew and we came to realize it. None of us was born with the Bible in the hand. So when the word came, it came within a certain culture. It came within a certain history. came with a group of people with their own culture, with their own story. And that's what we call the incarnation. And whether we like it or not, that was the Jewish world. And now this same word had a target. The people who responded very much to this gospel were the marginalized, the poor, the lame, the blind. They were those who received the gospel message more, to the extent that Jesus even told the disciples that it is very hard for a rich man to go to heaven than a candle entering through a hole of a needle, because they had so much possessions and they didn't need anything. And it has been the biggest accusation of the Christian church, that the Christian church praises poverty. Many people began to accuse the church for always making people feel happy they were poor. And it has always been that challenge. But today, do we have the same people around in our American society? Do we have the poor, the lame, the blind, the oppressed, the lepers? Do we have them?
No.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
And no. So who are saying yes? Where are they? Where are the poor?
In the hospital.
In the hospital.
In nursing homes, right, in the street.
And then the poor in the spirit, the poor that are lonely, and that kind of poor that are poor in, like Teresa, Mother Teresa said.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just the people that don't have money that are poor, it's the people that are lonely.
So you see where we miss the message. When we focus only on the physical, the poor, as in people who don't have money, we will miss the gospel. And that is why we have to change the way we preach the message. Because today our situation, our poverty is different. Our poverty today is completely different. We have all the smartphones but no connection. Somebody has about 2,000, 5,000, 5 million followers that spends all the time home. No friends. When I was doing my baccalaureate in the social communication, I did on social media and isolation. You realize from 2003, when Facebook started launching, to 2010, where social network was within 2003 to 2010. It was Instagram that brought social media. It used to be called social network, where you have connected friends. But this time it's a media, it's a platform. It's a TV station, it's a radio station, and every one of us have stations. The rate at which isolation among young people is increasing. If I should show you the graph, you will see that we are connected digitally, but isolated. Because you can live your whole day without talking to anybody. Go to the grocery shops, self-service, pick what you want, check it out, go away. If you're hungry, take a nap, order your food, the vendor will drop it at your door, ring the bell or you sign, he takes it. You can live the whole day without talking to anybody in this world. And that is what is killing us. When I sit at confession, when I speak to people, you can see they are dying inside. But outside it looks so beautiful. Our poverty is different. Loneliness. We have a lot of stress. Addiction. Addiction to so many things. People are smoking, drinking, not just because they love it. They have no choice. We used to send some.
Okay, everybody, tell me, is the class any good?
Absolutely.
All right, good. You can continue.
Now we
Enjoy, everybody.
have the permission to continue.
Enjoy. I told the Spanish community in Mass the other day that we have now Spanish for English speakers.
Gringos.
And it sold out in one day, and they were also happy, so they were clapping. The gringos want to learn how to speak Spanish. All right? If you listen to this class, you'll know what to say, but not how to say it. Good.
Thank you. In Italy, we used to take the young guys for camping, and one girl, 9 years old, she's so addicted to smoking. She said every single day she smokes not less than 5 packs. 9 years.
Wow.
So we asked her, why are you smoking? She said, I have so much stress. I said, oh, 9 years and you are so stressed out that when you get 40 years, you just squeeze out. And we kept asking why. We tried to explain. At the end, she confided in us that she actually took it because her friends are doing it. And today in Italy, when the kids get to 14, 9 years and they start smoking, parents have to buy it for them by force. Because all their friends are smoking. So you can't understand why he alone is not smoking. This is a new poverty. It's a new leprosy. And that is what the gospel addresses today. So that when we understand Jesus' message, not just the poor, as in the physical poverty, like the spiritual one, which Jesus was actually talking about, we will see that the gospel still has value. And it is all of us who have to share. And this is what we are struggling with. The gospel remains good news for every culture and every time, because God is always with us. And God expects us to share this message with love and grace. And this is what we are going to be doing throughout the week, the month. Today we are going to share things about Ghana, see about the church in Ghana, how we do our things. Then next week we'll see how we can manage our phones, some of the things we can control, some of the things we cannot control, and how do we live that. Then the following week we'll talk about interpersonal communications, how to speak as family members, how to understand people, so that communication is not just the words you speak. So next praise week, we are going to learn how to read your husband's mind, read your partner's mind. So I can just look at her and know what she's thinking. You want me to try? Yeah. Then the last week, we'll think about passing this faith to our children. Then we are done for the month, and we see what God. So who knows something about Ghana?
It's in Africa.
It's in Africa. It's in Africa. Lovely Ghana. So this is the map of Africa. People didn't know that Africa is bigger than the whole of Europe put together. Yes. Even Africa, look at small like this. Who can find out where Ghana is? Where? Here.
Yeah.
Yes, that is that small country called Ghana. Oh, okay, thank you. So that is Ghana for you. And we are divided into regions. Now we have 16 regions. And my region and my diocese, we are going to talk about here in Bono East. It is the very center of Ghana. Ghana is the first African country to gain independence in 1957, 5th March 1957. And the president that time helped all the other African countries to gain independence. We were colonized by Great Britain. So in 1957, were actually colonized by Portuguese. Then Germans came and took over until the British came, and they were the longest, and they had a lot of impact on us. So Ghana has so many things, rich in cocoa. It is the first in Ghana, in Africa now. First producing cocoa producing in Africa. Then first gold producing in Africa. Yes, we took over from South Africa 4 years ago. So we produce gold, we have bauxite, we have timber, we have a lot of farms. Unfortunately, we have a lot of poverty as well, which I think is not lack of anything. The poverty in Africa is here. Our minds are not working well. We have a total population of 35.1 million, and I don't know how many people the population in New York. So when you divide America into 10, we'll not even get one. And we'll talk much about religion since we are talking about the church. Out of the 35.1 million, 74.9% are Christians. But you will realize that the Catholic Church is also suffering. Then we have 20%. Every year Muslims keep increasing. One of the biggest challenges to Christianity in Africa and in Ghana is Islam. Muslims, they are, let me see if nobody's listening. They are very aggressive with their mission. So it makes the church, which is peaceful, very difficult to. So we prefer dialogue, but underneath it's difficult to live with them. They have so many things against our church. For instance, a Christian man cannot marry a Muslim woman. But a Muslim man can marry a Christian woman and bring her to Islam. If a Christian is marrying a Muslim woman, the parents of the woman have to kill her so that she dies as a Muslim. Because they believe that if you leave Islam, you are going to hell. So it is better to die as Muslim than to convert. And they have a lot of ways to increase today. We got a report from, we have priests who have also studied Islam theology and they teach us in the seminaries. All of them came together and they did some projects and they realized that in some camps, some regions, Muslim nurses who are in the villages, midwives, when they give birth, when Christian mother gives birth, many of the villages, the women are illiterate. They don't read, they can't write, young girls. So when they give birth, the midwife, by registering the name of the child, will add a Muslim name to it. So by the time the child will grow, eventually that will due upon him and he is born to be a Muslim. So they are very, and now they are pushing to the big offices. We are yet to get a Muslim president, but they are very, very active. Then, as for the indigenous traditional beliefs, they are now reducing. Out of the 74% Christians, 44% are Pentecostals and Charismatics. Then 20% are other single one-man churches. So you see the Catholic Church is only suffering from the struggle with Islam, but also with the Protestant churches. Then let's see how much the Catholic population. We used to be 17, we reduced to 15, we reduced to 13, and now every 10 years we reduce by 2.2%. So we are at a very crossroads. The bishops are concerned, but sometimes what the Protestants have, and we will understand that later. When you go to a Protestant church, there are so many things they do that we don't do at the Catholic Church. For instance, even their church service, the way they make people dance, the Catholic Church is not always for dance. It's for prayer, it's for worship. So young people today don't really like that. And the messages are all prosperity. You want to go to America, come and let me pray for you, and you get visa. If you want to go to this, and they have interpretation for every dream. You go to a Catholic priest, and the Catholic priest will want you to reason out with God. But the Protestants will give you answers, whether it is correct or not. They will tell you whatever they want, and that is what they are using to be your people. So this is they were in my diocese in 2018 when we celebrated our 10 years. So my diocese is now, so dioceses to have been created. That means in Ghana, forming the Bishops' Conference. And this is my diocese. It's called Techiman. It is just at the very center of Ghana. It was created on 28th December 2007 by Pope Benedict. And the total population for the region, now my diocese is the same, the whole region of Ghana called Common East. It has now 1,230,000 people, and out of that, 78,000 are Catholics. When I was in the office in 2017, I did a head count from all the parishes, and every Sunday we have an average of 27,000 people going to church every Sunday throughout the diocese. Now we have 30 parishes, we have 54 priests, and 78 seminarians. Vocation is very good. And now my bishop is struggling to take care of them. I have to take care of seminarians. In Ghana, what happens is, if you want to be a priest, your parents don't pay anything. Everything is in the hands of the bishop. So the bishop also gets help. Sometimes he gets help, sometimes not. So he gets money from the parishioners. So the more he has seminarians, the more he struggles to pay their bills, pay their school fees, and pay for. So he has to reduce the number of seminarians he takes. This year the theme was Mary, our help. Mary, our perpetual help. So the priest will speak to the people about the need to adore Jesus and what it means, explain it to the people, what it means to have the time will come for benediction, and there will be a lot of prayer sessions. And there's so much art of dancing. I missed it last time. So we also have the young people. Most of the things we do, the young people take charge. The singing, the animation of the liturgy, and we allow them creativity to sing. So this is a young girl who prepared for the psalms to sing. And one thing the bishop has introduced some few years ago is to take charge of those who cannot hear with a sign language, so that in every of our celebration there is somebody explaining that sign language, and we are going to see how do we sustain the church in Ghana, in Africa. Obviously, it is through the collections of the laity. The lay people help the priests with their money and with their food stuff. So we will see the many things they bring to the priests every Sunday. Priests are not paid in Ghana. We don't receive any salary. We don't receive any allowance. All that we spend, our feeding, our transportation, is bought by the parish. Because if the churches were to pay priests, we wouldn't be able to do that. We have not reached that yet. So the faithful come together, give their collection every Sunday. Then, when they are coming for Mass, they tell you what they get from their farms. If somebody is working in the trader, he or she brings something from her shop to give to the priest. So you will see that. And we have every kind of instrument, brass band. You can dance more. And when you are giving, you dance. Just express your joy. For God has done so much for you. So we have the catechist. Those who are dressed like this are the local catechists. I will explain small about them. The catechists are the instructors of faith. They are not priests, but they decide to accept that role. They are just normal people, but they lead in prayers. They help in catechesis, in training young people, in sending the message to. So it's a special ministry we have in Ghana, and it's in the whole world, not only in Ghana. Catechists, then obviously the Knights of St. John. So this video was taken when we celebrated our 50th, 10th anniversary in 2018. And this is the bar. This is where we also have bar coming to help. I don't know if you have been here. Because these are Knights of St. John. We don't have the St. Columbus. Now we copied from America. So we have the Knights and Ladies of St. John and Knights and Ladies of Marshall. So their duty is to protect the bishop. So they are like the soldiers, and that's not what they just do. They also help with the training of seminarians. So they adapt seminarians, and whenever the bishop needs help, they contribute to support the priest, the bishop, taking care of seminarians. These are our brothers and sisters, different congregations. This is the music director, he's a priest. He's a musician, and he was conducting that day because it was a So now we go to this one. This is where the offertory we talk about. Anybody, this time we didn't share among the laity. So we have a lot of lay associations. The women alone, we have about 5 different associations with different charisms. We have the Catholic Women Association, we have the Christian Mothers Association, we have the St. Teresa's of the Holy Child Association, we have the Legion of Mary, we have different devotional groups. And what it helps is, it helps in the formation of the laity. Because the church is so big, the priest cannot do everything. So each of them meets every, you see the things you are bringing. That is why for the bishop, because the bishop, you see how they decorated it nicely. So that's why they bring, everybody brings something so that you support the priest, you support the bishop, because the bishop may not have the resources to take care of all of that. So this is what happens. Assuming we are coming from Malta and Lawrence and everybody brings something. So this is what, you see a market woman carrying her fish, dry fish, because that is what she sells. So she brings some to the priest, to the bishop. Some bring malts, bring so many things. Somebody is also doing provisions. He brings soup, some toiletries, eggs. Some of them too they buy eggs. We have onions. Most of these things, that is what they are doing. That is what they sell. Some do that, or some buy it, and that is what during offertory they bring to the priest, or they bring to the bishop, so that the bishop or the priest will not have to use the church money to buy everything. Otherwise, the church money will finish. Yeah. So that is what they do to sustain the priest. And as I was saying, the societies are very helpful. You know, the church is so big that if you want to minister to all of them, you can't. Otherwise, the church will remain only for the Sundays. But we have to do more outside the mass. That's where we come to learn so much. That's where we come to do a lot of sharing. And when I came here, I was so proud to see the discipleship programs. And sometimes when I visit the discipleship programs, you know, you have a lot of time to reflect only on the gospel, for instance. And those are participating in their meetings. Last week, I meet the young adults every Friday at 7:30 now. Last week, we met 8. And when I started, last week, we recorded 12. 12 young people came. They heard about some small boy who is talking so many things and explaining. They were so excited. And 12. I know next Friday, they are going to, and each one goes and brings his friend. They go and they call their friends. And this is where I think we do more of the formation work. As for the Mass, our target is just one, to give adoration to Jesus in the Eucharist. So the Mass is not a time for formation. Even the homily, how much time does the priest have to explain everything in the homily? There's no time. Even if the priest says something that you have doubt, do you raise questions? There's no time to raise questions at Mass. That is why the small groups is so helpful. We're able to do this discipleship in small groups. Last time I met, somebody shared an experience that when she became a disciple, the last time we met down, now they are preparing, I don't know whether they even had their wedding last month or so. That is the benefit of meeting in smaller groups, sharing things. These discussions we are having, if not because of this smaller group, we will never have it anywhere. So this is one of the things that we do that I think is very, very helpful. When we group the church members in smaller groups, they share their faith, they share their sorrows, they share their experiences, and not only in the lay societies, we also have small community groups. In every parish, they put about households. And sometimes the priest goes to, and when I was in the parish, we met every Wednesday. So I choose to meet about 5 families who live closer. They come together, and all that they do is to share the readings of the last Sunday. So I was having about 15 communities. So sometimes I visit this week, the following week I go to, then you help them, and that's how we do more of the formation. If you don't do Mass outside the Mass will not make any meaning for us. Because it is outside the Mass that you can ask questions, you can confront your own doubt, you can feel the presence, how others are also feeling the same challenges you think you are going through. And when you understand it from there, you come for the mass and you understand what you're doing. For instance, the Lord's Prayer. Some people do this, our Father who art in heaven. And you see some people doing this. What is the best way? Who knows the best way?
Whatever feels right to you, I think.
The church has order.
Really?
There are rules in the liturgy.
So what is
So the
it?
church
Tell me.
says that when we are saying the Lord's Prayer, it is only the priest who extends the mouth, the hand. And the rest of us, we fold our hands. This is a liturgical education. If the priest should stop mass, or maybe after mass, he wants to do small, everybody will run away. So these are one of the things that maybe going forward we have to learn. And now that our director is here, we will increase more the discipleship program so that we make people, and it doesn't have to be bigger group. It doesn't have to be bigger group. So this is another celebration where the women, and mostly the women are always the generous ones. The men will come with envelopes, and that is how they support the church, they support the priest. So you see how we have incorporated the cultural elements. Those elements that are good, we incorporate them. Those elements that are not good, we try to. So somebody is so happy just playing the drum for the church. So you saw a goat, a live goat. So we are going to end with a prayer from the bishop, a blessing from him. Anybody respond? This is laughing. Yeah. Anybody who sees name here, is able to find names, will say, you are asking where I was. You see where I was, where I am now. I'm always at the background working. Yeah. So when we had our 10th anniversary, all the bishops in Ghana came to support their brother. That's why you see a lot of bishops. And they are again here. Anybody have seen me there? I was looking so small.
Yeah.
Who made the stars by the word of his power?
That was me standing there.
Put your back.
Yeah, because I was the one in charge of communication and publicity. So I was working on the background. So I was organizing them, arranging them for a group photo. So I played a very big role in that celebration. And That is why I'm losing all my hair. I was doing something bigger than my age. So we end it here. Any questions we can now discuss? What can we learn from Ghana? And what can you also share with us from Ghana?
You belong to this parish, Father?
I belong to,
You belong to this parish?
this is the whole diocese.
Oh, okay.
This is the whole diocese that I've met. Because it was the 10th anniversary, and that's why all the bishops. So when we have such a celebration and ordination and the assumption, it is all the diocese, people from everywhere that come to meet. And because there are many, we can't fit in one church. We always do it outside. So anytime we have ordination or the assumption every 15th August, or if the bishop has a special celebration, we all meet. Otherwise, the other celebrations, everybody does it in his own parish.
That's what I really like, is everyone coming together. I think it'd be great if we did something like that here. But once a year, the whole diocese of New York came together.
Yeah.
That would be enormous.
Yeah, that would be great.
Huge.
That would be huge.
Even our vicariate would be nice to get the parishes together, just in our vicariate.
It helps the societies I spoke about, for instance, each at the parish level belong to a bigger diocesan level. So every year, each society, apart from having their smaller meetings every week, they also have retreats and recollections at least every month. But every quarter, each society at the bigger diocesan level meets at the grotto, the shrine, to have a 3 days recollection. So, apart from that, events like Lent and Advent, each society has to organize a retreat for its members. So nobody is left behind. And that is where it helps the priest to be able to organize these things to spiritually empower the laity. And because they do in their groups, they have their own way of singing, they understand, they have their own charism, and they click to each other. And it helps the other societies. Some parishes are well endowed than the others. So when we have such a diocesan celebration, a bigger celebration, and people are coming, it helps the bigger, younger ones to learn from the bigger one. For instance, in singing, whenever we have a big celebration, all the choristers within the vicariate come together to learn a particular song so that they know all the time new songs to teach, they learn new songs, and it helps them. We don't have the facilities like you have here. We don't have all the facilities. So, for instance, when I was there, I was the general director of music, and most of the guys I can get, they are within a particular parish. So, I had to organize them and invite some of the choristers to come and learn. Anytime there's a new song, we learn for the masses so that they can elevate the songs.
Does everyone belong to a society?
Not everyone.
But most
Those, apart from the societies, you also try to group them according to the day borns, the days they were born. So it helps, the smaller the groups, the best the church is able to take care of their welfare. So we have those who were born on Sunday, they have their society. Those who were born on Monday, those who were born on Tuesday. And this is what they do. For instance, if somebody is sick, every Sunday after Mass, they meet to check who didn't come for Mass. If one of them didn't come for Mass, it is the duty of the day borns to make sure they find out why. Maybe he or she is sick, and when somebody is bereaved or somebody is died, it is that day born that has to help the family to organize everything. So it's a way of bringing all of us together to help. But there are some who decide not to join any society that the better when you join them, it helps your welfare. When you are sick, at least if the entire church members cannot come and visit you, you are sure that your society member or your day-born group will come and visit you. They will pray for you. If they have even the women's societies, sometimes they organize food stuff and other charitable things for you, especially when you give birth. When the women give birth, all the women's society will come together and organize certain things, food stuff, diapers, the toiletries, and go and give it to you. And it keeps people, that is what makes people love to come to church. Otherwise, they won't come to church. When we were kids, the missionaries taught us that. The missionaries who came, they used to bring clothing, food stuff for us. They carry it from their hometowns and bring it to Ghana. And we have copied that from them. And we still keep that so that it helps the welfare. It's one of the biggest challenges the church will always go through from the early church, from Acts chapter 4, welfare. When I was sick, nobody came to visit me, and I no longer come to church. When I was in trouble, nobody came to visit me. And people leave the church because of those reasons. They were sick, nobody visited. Even sometimes the priest will never even hear about him. But when they are in the smaller groups, in the day-born groups, or in the lay societies, the moment they are sick, if there's a need for a priest to come in, immediately the priest knows about it and it goes. But apart from that, every parish should set aside a day in a week or in a month to visit all the sick, the aged, those who don't come for mass. So when I was in the parish, what I did was every Wednesday, once a month, I visit all the sick. The catechist, that's why the catechist's role is very important. It is the catechist who takes notice of all of that and knows who the priest should visit, who needs the anointing, who needs conversion, who needs communion, who needs to do that. If somebody is sick, it's the catechist. So when the lay faithful realize that, they will pass it through the catechist. The catechist will take notice of that and invite the priest. So at the end of the month, when the priest is visiting the sick and the aged, he goes with the catechist. And the catechist will show them, let's go to this person's house, let's go to this person's house, let's visit this one, let's go and pray. This one needs anointing, let's go anoint him. This one needs this. That is how the priest is able to minister to the faithful. Because if you want to do it alone in the parish, you will never be able to do that.
Do they bring communion to the homebound?
Yes. At least some do it every week, some do it every month, depending on the availability of the priest. I was still working in the office, so I did it once a month. Then, every 6 months, June and December, I brought all of them to the mass. Sometimes it's good for them to feel the mass. Some have not been able to come for mass over years. So I bring them there, and it is the lay societies, the women groups, who will help carry the aged to the church. Some of them donate their cars, some of them too, the women carry them literally at their backs and bring them to church. And during that time, all the choristers, we do the mass like the normal day so that they will feel the music, they will feel what they've missed, then we anoint them. So I used to anoint them every 6 months. I don't want to wait for emergency. So after that, some of the parishioners, anytime we are visiting, they make contributions, money, some clothing, like when it's getting to the cold weather, some give jackets, and we distribute. Anytime I visit them, we distribute. So in terms of welfare, that is what is helping the church in ministering to the people in the church. The lay societies are very instrumental. Then the day-born groups, then the weekly visit of the priest. And we also have seminarians when they vacate. They come to the parishes for pastoral assignment, and we send them to the villages where we have the structure of our church is like this. There is always a parish center, like Brewster, St. Lawrence. Then we have villages far away. So the bishop puts all those villages around under one parish. So like St. Lawrence will have about 10 to 20 outstations. There are parishes, Catholics in the villages to visit them. Some places you don't even get, your car cannot go there. Some of the places you have to park your car somewhere and somebody picks you on a motorbike. Sometimes you have to cross rivers to get them. They live in very remote areas, and at least every month we have to visit them. Yeah.
How does everybody find out about this? What type of communication that you have? So someone is out in one of those little villages is sick. How do you find out?
That is where the catechist's role is very key. When I did my master's in religious ministry, that is the topic I chose. The catechists do so much for the priest that without them, because they are those who live with the people. The priest has a special place, the mission house, the rectory. He lives there, and not everybody has the courage to come and talk to the priest.
Do you have deacons?
We don't have deacons. All our deacons are transitory deacons. They are deacons who become priests. We don't have permanent deacons. We are elected. Some parishes have it, but in my diocese we don't have it. Yes. So that is where the role of the catechist takes charge of some of these things. So the catechist also organizes the lectures, the acolytes, the altar service. The catechist helps all of that. So the catechist always stays with the people. And for instance, when I travel to the village, for instance, let's say I travel to Sacred Heart. It's the village, an outstation of the parish. There is a catechist that has to alert the priest that Father after Mass, somebody needs anointing, somebody needs communion, somebody needs this, somebody needs that. That's where the catechist helps the priest to do.
So these people just volunteer for that, or
Volunteers. We have two groups of catechists according to the canon law. We have those who are permanent, and they receive certain salaries. Some of them about $20 a month, and their work is so. The bishops have been thinking about it. They work when you are a permanent catechist. Some of them don't do any work at all because you can't. People are coming to you all the time. The priest needs you. The priest is calling you, catechist, you have to do this. When there's a program, the catechist have to organize it. The catechist has to do that. Some of them don't have any job at all. And unfortunately, because we don't have the resources, they are not paid much. So we give them about $20 to $30 a month. Then we have those who help, who are not catechists, and they're just taking it as a voluntary work. But it is completely voluntary work. Completely voluntary work.
The first priest from Ghana in the parish was Father George Karamahome.
Ah! I know his past.
Yes, he is, yes.
He became the Vicar General.
Yes.
And he helped the diocese. We were in the bigger diocese before my diocese was created, and Bishop Monsignor, he became a Monsignor. He was a great hard worker. It was hard work that killed him. And he helped. We have never met the whole Ghana. We've never seen a Vicar General like him. Even cases that the bishop is afraid to attack, he's the one who goes, just with a smile.
He was very charismatic.
Yeah.
He won many hearts.
Wow.
He was very...
In recent years,
Yes.
What year was that, Jean?
Father George Karamahome was here when our kids were teenagers, so we're talking about 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And then, Father Andrew Biamo, and Father Andrew passed away in those
Yeah, yeah.
but the parish sent him back to Africa with a cause.
Wow.
Yeah, that'd be a turnover.
Yes, without it, because that is the car in Africa.
Yeah.
And the roads, that's the only car that helps the roads. Yeah.
Was Father Peter from Ghana? I don't know his last name. Remember what I
I
called him
think
Peter?
most of our priests from Africa were from Ghana, except one Father John was from Eastern African country. He was here just for a brief time, like a summer, rather than assignment. Father George was here for a few years. I think he stayed in Rochester. Father Nana Ampa, I don't know whether he's still alive.
Father who?
Nana Ampa, he was the big soccer player.
Oh.
He came and he stayed.
Okay.
He's in our last.
Also heard of Father Eric was at Sacred Heart. Then we had Father Peter.
Yeah.
Ahinkan.
Yes.
He also at Sacred Heart. No, at Brewster here.
Yes.
Then we had Father William. Then we had head of Father Upon Bar. He was a late shot. Monsignor, he also passed away. So all those who came here were wonderful people. Yeah. And they helped Father Peter, for instance. Peter Nkan also passed away. He became the financial administrator of the then diocese where I belong to. And he was the one who mobilized money to build the cathedral. So here has been a special place. All the priests who come here, they are wonderful in our diocese. They are always the best. So the bishops, it's not easy for them to give them away.
And we're very grateful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's so many cultures, different groups of different languages.
Yes.
You have smaller languages, or sub-languages.
That is one of the biggest. We have about we have ethnic groups.
Yeah.
Then within each ethnic group we have tribes. And one of the biggest things in Africa, we were not able to unite in language. So in Ghana, for instance, my ethnic group is the largest, which is about 44% of Ghanaians. But from one village to the other village, the language is different. Just that point, I can hear you. So it makes the pastoral work too sometimes very difficult.
Yeah.
Because the priest has to learn the local, whether you like it or not. In a parish, for instance, the language of Brewster is different from the language of Sacred Heart. And you have to learn it. And if you don't learn it, you can't minister to them.
Wow, you have to learn all these languages?
You have to.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, you have no option.
Are they greatly different or is a lot of similar?
My side, we don't have much problem. Because even though the accents are different, we can communicate. But we have, especially when you go to the north, you have a lot of, let me see if I can find something like sections. now the languages. So all this area is one ethnic group. The whole of this area is one ethnic group. But when you go here, they are completely different. So my diocese, which is here, around here, we understand each other. But today, because we have a lot of migration, people from the north, they come our center, we are forced to learn that language. But fortunately, we have priests who were born within that language, and that is how the bishop also, in his wisdom, knows how to assign. When we have migrants from other tribes, who are many in a parish, the bishop has given them the opportunity to meet once a month. And when there is no priest from our diocese who can speak their language, we invite priests from his tribe, from that tribe to come to minister to them. Yeah. And sometimes they have their own catechesis. So language is another interesting thing in Ghana. Yeah. Language is another interesting thing. Any other question?
Are you gonna teach us to dance?
Oh, you want to dance?
Next week.
Next week.
Okay.
Next week, today didn't come with dancing shoes. Next week. So, God willing, next week, this is what is going to happen. Next week, we are going to look at scrolling with purpose, how we can really take advantage of the media. We will realize, we will know some of the common ways the media used to get us. You see, as long as you have this, you are never free. All the things we watch, all the things, I can just look at your phone and know who you are. Just looking at your phone, I will know your character. I will know your secrets. So that's why it's difficult. Some women don't want their husband to see their phone. I just have to look at your phone and just go to your search engine. By looking at your search engine, I will know all the things you have been doing behind your wife. I'll catch you.
So we should just go into confession and hand over our phone.
Yeah, somebody came like that. She had downloaded some video, some game, and that game has taken, and she didn't know how to delete it. So she brought it for conversion and how to delete it for her. When your phone has trouble, you can bring it to me, I'll take care of it. All right, so shall we pray? In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Lord our Father, you have created us, and you communicate with us in different ways. We have seen how the church is one, yet we have so many ways of sharing your message and living in our faith. May this inspire us, and especially throughout this month, and we will understand how to live and share our Catholic faith in this very changing world. Grant us a restful and quiet night, and let us be renewed, continue your work